Welcome to the news on New Day. We come to you live from our studios here at Desanwe Kanda in Accra. My name is Judith Brown. Coming up this morning. This morning, the Ghana AIDS Commission calls for more action to ensure that HIV patients not currently on treatment are put on antiretroviral therapy. Also this morning, a founding member of the opposition, New Patriotic Party, Dr. Charles Reubro, urges party members to stop being disruptive and allow the government to work. And on the foreign front, Uganda's long-serving president, Yoweri Museveni, 80, declared the governing party's candidate in next year's presidential election. Welcome once again to the bulletin. We start from here. Well, the husband of the incarcerated leader and founder of the Heavenway Champion International Ministries, Angel Kwabena Isiama, says the sentencing of evangelist Patricia Asiedua, popularly known as the Nagrada, is part of fulfilling God's glory. While leading the Sunday service, he, however, denied all charges against the leader.
A handful of church members gathered at the Heavenway Champion International Ministries Sunday, July 6th, to hold a service dedicated to their incarcerated leader, Evangelist Patricia Asiedua, also known as Nana Nagrada. Sadness filled the auditorium, with some members openly wailing during the service, which was attended by Nagrada's biological parents, brother and spiritual father. Her husband, Angel Kwabena Isiama, was visibly emotional, pacing the altar and frequently wiping tears from his eyes as he prepared to address the congregation. The church's music ministry stepped in with interludes to calm the atmosphere and help Angel Isiama compose himself before finally delivering the sermon. A special prayer session was held for the incarcerated leader. Before the service began, church authorities issued a strict directive barring the use of mobile phones in the auditorium. Eventually, Angel Kwabena Isiama found his voice. He told the congregation that his wife's incarceration was divinely ordained to reveal the power and glory of God.
The disciples also suffered the same fate as our leader. Paul and Silas were imprisoned and chained, but when their time came, they were set free. So we are not disturbed if God has sent her to Nsawam prison to deliver his message. Who are we to question it?
He further denied the allegations that led to Nagrada's imprisonment, adding that he too may be jailed in connection with the same matter.
As I stand before you today preaching the word, it's possible that one day I may also join my wife in prison. It's all part of the mission, and I have come to accept that.
However, this declaration stirred unease among some congregants. They argued that it validated a viral video Nana Nagrada herself had released prior to her conviction.
Angel Isiama, ye criminals. We are two criminals. And yakaya huabomono. It's more being yana say. Obi betinye be wiame me magen. And obi betinye wiame kunu Angel Isiama.
Nana Nagrada's parents also addressed the church, speaking emotionally about their daughter's current predicament. After the service, tensions fled when some members tried to block journalists from filming outside the church premises. In a dramatic scene, one irate church member was seen dragging herself on the dusty road, cursing at journalists and attempting to disrupt their work. Despite the chaos, members of the Heavenway Champion International Ministries remained resolute. Their message was unambiguous. They will continue to stand by their spiritual leader, with unwavering hope that Nagrada will be granted clemency and return to lead them once again. While public sentiment about Nagrada's conviction remains divided, her loyal followers are holding on to faith rather than facts, choosing to interpret her legal troubles as a spiritual trial. Whether her incarceration will ultimately lead to redemption or further controversy remains to be seen. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, in other news, the Ghana AIDS Commission is calling for more action to ensure that HIV/AIDS patients not currently on treatment are put on antiretroviral therapy. Well, according to the Commission, more than half of the people living with HIV/AIDS have not sought the life-saving antiretroviral treatment. The Commission has described the situation as alarming, warning that it could derail Ghana's efforts to control HIV/AIDS. Dr. Fred Nanapoku is the director in charge of technical services at the Ghana AIDS Commission.
So, unfortunately, out of these 334,721, about 227,000 know their HIV status as having HIV. And again, unfortunately, not all of these people are on treatment. Just about 150,000 people are using the antiretroviral therapy, which are highly effective and which suppresses the virus. This is a very unfortunate situation because we know the benefits of taking the medication. That is why currently the principle that we are using is test and treat. It means that immediately you are tested, you are confirmed as having the virus, irrespective of your CD4 level, you are placed on the medication because that will suppress the viruses from multiplying in your body. That will ensure that your health is restored and you are strong to go about your normal duty. And if you reach a state we call viral suppression, you are unable to transmit this virus sexually to other partners when you have intercourse. So treatment is very, very vital in our course of events. And we see that as a very crucial step for people who have contracted HIV. Thank you.
Now, a founding member of the New Patriotic Party, that is the opposition, Dr. Charles Reubro, has asked the NPP to stop being destructive and allow the government to work. Dr. Reubro spoke in an exclusive interview with Beatrice Edu.
The NDC and its independent supporters have 2/3 of parliament, so they do not need to waste their time being distracted by an opposition which is just trying to score points. You know, democracy also requires that once we've had an election, we should give room for the government which has been elected to show us what it can do. With democracy doesn't mean that you spend every day from day one litigating the election and trying to set in train the next election. Do you know why we elect governments? We left the governments to give us development. We don't elect governments to prepare for the next election. So let's focus on looking at what the government is doing, at least for a year or two, and see whether they are meeting the expectations that they gave us or did not. And the opposition has gotten itself into a manner where it's simply being disruptive for the disruption's sake. So how can you, the people responsible for the deep losses and the destruction of the mechanism for power sector tariff setting, now go into Parliament and say that the government has no right to put tariffs up, when you know that you are the cause why government has had to do what it has had to do.
Now, Professor of Finance at the University of Ghana, Prof Bachpin, says that there's an attempt to move Ghana's economy to value addition through the 24-hour economy policy. Professor Bachpin, however, advised against establishing a special organization with the status of an authority to implement the 24-hour economy policy.
There's an attempt to strengthen the employment response to growth, because we have seen positive growth in the last couple of decades, but largely have been jobless growth. That is what we have celebrated. So I see that over the period, 4-year period or so, they are looking at creating about 1.7 million jobs. Couldn't we have implemented a lot of almost all those things using the existing channels? We have the local government, we have a decentralized government system and all of that, budgetary allocations, there are civil servants who are recruited, professionals trained and all of that. They implement all of this. Why do we want to create an authority? Since 1992, if you check the cost drive, you realize that the administrative cost of implementing policies and all have expanded hugely. But what is the cost? What is the value from all of that? How do we implement this with a low-cost approach and all of that? And that's what I'm saying, that if you create an authority, you create a secretariat and all of that, in fact, what it means is that this is going to be like a standalone. We are not infusing it within the system and build ownership.
In more news, vice-chancellors of technical universities of Ghana have expressed deep concern over the growing trend of academic title fraud in the country. Well, the group described the trend as a serious threat to the integrity of Ghana's tertiary education system. Now, this was contained in a statement issued in response to a recent caution from the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC. Well, the vice-chancellors of technical universities of Ghana commended or condemned the widespread use of unearned academic titles, which they said undermine the credibility of the nation's educational institutions and risked devaluing Ghanaian academic qualifications on the global stage. Or they're also warning of international reputational damage that this trend could cause. The VCTUG called for a coordinated national response to the issue. Let's do some more stories. And tricycle operators in the Upper East region have welcomed the government's decision to legalize the commercial tricycle business. Well, the National Union of Tricycle Operators of Ghana has been sensitizing operators and riders ahead of the eventual legalization. Upper East regional correspondent Tanko Mohammed Rabiu found this report.
The tricycle business has become a common and convenient means of transport in the Upper East region and other parts of Ghana. It is widely accessible and affordable. Over the past decade, commercial tricycles have gradually taken over the traditional car taxi business. Due to the growing popularity of this mode of transport, the government, as part of its campaign promise, is taking steps to legalize the operations by enacting laws aimed at improving road safety and boosting income for Ghanaians through a regulated transport system. According to the Minister of Transport, Joseph Bukari Nipe, as part of the proposed amendment of the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180, only persons aged 25 years and above will be allowed to operate commercial motorcycles or tricycles. Riders must be employed by or registered with a licensed commercial motorcycle or tricycle union or company to be eligible. Additionally, operators must undergo formal training and will be issued a unique yellow license plate upon completion. The initiative is designed not only to improve safety, but also to integrate Okada and tricycle transportation into the formal economy, offering better opportunities for operators while protecting passengers. As part of this effort, officials from the National Union of Tricycle Operators of Ghana have visited the region to educate operators on road safety and dangers of drug abuse. The national chairman of the Union of Tricycle Operators of Ghana, Hamza Hafiz, spoke to the media.
We are here in the Upper East region and we are embarking on a nationwide sensitization to preparing the grounds for the impending legalization of tricycles. And we are pleased so far what we have seen, the commitment so far from the side of the government. And we are also taking this opportunity to educate our members on the need to prepare ourselves to embrace the new regulations that are coming up. So today we are in the Upper East region and tomorrow we'll be in the Northeast region. We'll be touring the 5 northern regions for the second phase.
Other national and regional executives also shared their expectations and concerns regarding the legalization of the tricycle business.
We are here together just to tell the government that we are ready for the legalization of the tricycle operations in Ghana. We are only appealing to the authorities to make sure that whatever plans that they had and the promise that they have been given, all the steps that have been taken so far with regards to the legalization of tricycles should come on. We are welcoming it. And we also want to urge them to put their effort to make sure that all the things that will make this operation successful should be able to put together so that we too also benefit.
It is the public perception that our people are on track, most of them. So whenever you hear of tricycle, what comes next in the minds of others is what? Drug people, or people who deal in drug or who abuse drugs. So we took it upon ourselves as national executive, we have to touch base to our people and educate them. And also those that are also involved in it, we have to police our profession to take them out.
The union has assured the government of its commitment to ensuring that tricycle operators in the region remain drug-free in their operations.
Now, Deputy Director General for Enforcement, Control and Elimination at the Narcotics Control Commission, NACOC, lawyer Alexander Chumberima, says his outfit will continue to wage war against the trade in illicit drugs. Now, his comments follow NACOC's seizure of 738 compressed parcels of a substance suspected to be cannabis at the Swissport terminal in Accra.
An intel-led operation that took place. We had kept the parties under surveillance for some time. They brought their action to bear, and they were able to dispatch these items in boxes alongside some food items, plantain, some dried leaves being used in cooking, among other things, to the Kotoka International Airport to be exported to the United Kingdom. And they were arrested. So the driver is currently in our custody alongside 2 other persons. As we always make it clear, we haven't relented on our efforts to clamp down on every Dominican who's involved in this illicit activities. So this is to continuously send a signal to them that we are not asleep and we will not rest until they stop whatever they are doing. We know that there are recalcitrant ones among them, and no matter what we do, they will continue to do their own things. But we are also very wide awake in that any modus operandi that they take, we will go after them. This one, for instance, some of them was placed inside this local soap that we call alatasamana or something. They had concealed some of them in it, wrapped it with this soap in that it will outweigh, or they will be able to outsmart the system as well as the officers who will be scanning or physically examining these things. But in all this, we were able to apprehend them.
And now the acting executive secretary of the Ghana National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Adam Bona, says the Commission is working on a new law to regulate the use of firearms in the country. Dr. Bona spoke on Weekend Central in response to the death of an 18-year-old student who was killed by stray bullets at the Fire Festival in Bibla.
We have done what we can do, but unfortunately, as an agency that is supposed to be monitoring and helping other agencies to combat this, what I can say with certainty is that the laws governing the regulation of firearms and the way they are used is so old, so much so that we can only, if you ask the police, they will tell you there is no law that forbids people from using live ammo at festivals. And so at the moment, what we are doing is to refine the existing law. We have a bill that is at the ministerial level pending to go through the process and be, promulgated into law. Where festivals like this, if you are caught using live ammo, you would be punished, because then it looks like most of our festivals and celebrants have resorted to the use of live ammo instead of using non-lethal ammunition. And to the extent that some are using military-graded, weapons, M16s, we've seen them in the full glare of the public. Unfortunately, nothing was done in the last administration. This administration, if you ask me, I will tell you that we are on the verge of getting, strengthened guns,
And in international news this morning, Uganda's long-serving president, Yoweri Museveni, who is 80, has been declared the governing party's candidate in the next year's presidential election, opening the way for him to seek to extend his nearly 40 years in power. Well, in his acceptance speech, Museveni said that he had responded to the call and, if elected, would press ahead with his mission to turn Uganda into a high middle-income country. Museveni's critics say he has ruled with an iron hand since he seized power as a rebel leader in 1986. He has won every election held since then, and the constitution has been amended twice to remove age and term limits to allow him to remain in office. And that's our wrap up the 6 a.m. news right here on New Day. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you this morning. Do stay tuned. We'll go for a short break. We'll be back with the rest of New Day. Bye-bye.